Hello and welcome. This year, Property Week launched its Inspiring Diversity in Property campaign, which we hope the whole sector will get involved in. With this already, we have conducted research, are highlighting best practices and rewarding successes. I'm joined in the studio today by Tarini Pandey, Chief People Officer, and Paul Frost, Managing Director of our agenda partner for the campaign, Puma Property Finance. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
How do you ensure that Puma is promoting EDI, both internally and externally, and what strategies have you found to be effective in this regard?
It is embedded in absolutely everything we do. Every single thing that we do, it is about continually having the conversation. It is about continually putting the effort in. So whether that's through ensuring that we do blind recruitment, we work with all of our external partners from an agency side so that they fully understand what our purpose is in this. It's not about ticking boxes. The data is really important, but that's not why we do this. Lots and lots of conversations, ensuring we have a place where it is psychologically safe and belonging is at the heart of what we do, whatever that is. It's that consistent effort. Like, it has to be intentional, it has to be purposeful, and it has to be authentic and constant.
What have been some of the learnings on the EDI journey at Puma Property Finance?
I think you have to start somewhere, and I think, you just got to keep moving in the right direction and just be a little bit forgiving. Like, you're going to get it wrong. You're going to when we still will. This is a journey without a destination. Like, I don't think we're really proud of what we do, but are we even close to where we want to be? Absolutely not.
Be tenacious about it. But as Tarini says, get started, do something. You can evolve what you do, and you can learn along the way. But you've got to take that first step.
When implementing initiatives to make a positive change in EDI, how do you define and measure success?
For me, data is important, but it's not as important as actually the feeling. There's a lot of leaky buckets in organisations that just focus on attracting different types of diversity. The belonging, it's the inclusivity. Those are harder things to measure, but we do a lot of staff surveys. We have a lot of different avenues for people to give us anonymous feedback.
That is the measurement that I think the board, the leadership team, give most credence to. I agree with Tarini. The data is helpful to a point, but I think a sort of quota-driven mentality is far too narrow an approach. Some of this you can't measure, frankly. It's intangible.
And within your organisation, do you consider the responsibility for change to be top-down, bottom-up, or at every level? Can you share some approaches with us that you've taken at Puma Property Finance?
I think it has to start from the top down, and that's where certainly in our journey, how many years ago, it had to start from there. Having said that, I think that we're super proud that this is at every level.
The senior team, the board, have to be aligned with this. I think otherwise it's just words.
We agree the need for positive EDI initiatives transcends the property industry and beyond. Are you currently collaborating on this issue with any other organisations often considered to be competitive in the light of business?
Conscious that we're a pretty small cog in a very big machine that is the property finance industry, the property industry, the finance industry. These are big beasts. And so what we are trying to do is find opportunities to amplify our voice by partnering and working with organisations. Property Week's a good example, who have a broader coverage than us, have a louder voice, because we think we do have some points to make. We think we have made some good progress on this journey, and we'd like to share that, but also we're humble enough to know that we don't know all the answers. We haven't got it all right, and there are plenty of things that we can take from other organisations as well. And this stuff really cuts across commerciality, so there's no reason at all why you shouldn't collaborate with peers and supposed competitors on these sorts of things.
So could an industry-wide sharing of responsibility for change be more powerful?
Collaboration, the industry working together is really important, but it takes individual action at individual organisation level to really make the change.
It is super important for the industry to act collectively on this, because I think the more you do things collectively, the more normalised things are. That collective responsibility to change the industry as a whole, to make it safe for people, psychologically safe for people to be who they authentically are, because all the data shows that's how everything is better commercially, individually, etc., I think is a really key point. I think that's really where meaningful change will happen.
Research has shown that having a representative board encourages diverse candidates to apply for roles. But how long do you think it will be before these are standard across the sector, and what more could be done?
It shouldn't be that long, but I think a lot of people maybe rest on the bit that they can say, oh, well, actually, you can't really do anything about it right now, and I don't think that's necessarily the right approach.
There is momentum, and there feels like there is... this is a much more common conversation than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, certainly 20 or so years ago when I came into the industry. So that gives me some positivity that the pace of change is accelerating, but it's accelerating from a pretty glacial start.
So age, gender and ethnicity are most often the focus for EDI policies. How do you think the sector should be tackling issues such as social mobility disparities?
I think social mobility and other non-visible diversity has not yet reached the same level of consciousness as the more visible diversities. I think there is a much more normalised conversation now about gender and race. In society generally and in the property industry specifically, far less common to see conversations around social mobility, non-visible diversity and so on. So I think the industry does need to catch up with those.
Paul, why should men get on board with the EDI initiatives, and why is this personally important for you?
It's personally important to me because I like to think of myself as a values-driven individual, and when I see injustice and unfairness, it rankles. So, I was personally invested in that. In terms of why do I think men should be involved here, I'm conscious about lived experience, and clearly my lived experience is going to be different from Tarini's, different from women in the industry. There's only so much I can identify with the with the issues that women in the industry have faced. I'm very conscious of that, but that doesn't mean that I can't be a very strong ally and that men can't be strong allies here.
Thank you. That's all we have time for today, so thank you to Tarini and Paul for their time and for Puma Property Finance for being an agenda partner. If you haven't already taken the Inspiring Diversity in Property Pledge, then visit the link below to get involved and check out our social media for more on the campaign.